The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. After drug personality Kerwin Espinosa retracted his testimony against Senator Laila De Lima, a star witness from the prosecution side has done the same. Marlene Alcaide has the story.
After more than 6 years, former Corrections Chief Rafael Ragos recants his accusations against detained Senator Laila De Lima. Considered to be a star witness in the pending court cases, Ragos said then Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre forced him to invent a story. De Lima's camp called this the biggest frame-up in Philippine history.
She's just a victim of the biggest frame-up in Philippine history. Ang mga ebidensya dito, walang droga, walang trail of money kahit na drug trading case. Ang meron lang, laway lang ng puhunan itong mga testigo nila na nagsasabi na pinilit sila, tinakot sila.
Recall that during the believed drug trade probe in 2016, former Bucor officer in charge Ragos told Congress that he personally delivered money to De Lima and former aide Ronnie Dayan. His testimony was crucial in the Muntinlupa judge's decision to proceed with the trial. His retraction comes days after self-confessed drug trader Kerwin Espinosa recanted his accusations against De Lima. This should not be taken lightly, said former Integrated Bar of the Philippines President Attorney Domingo Cayosa. If coercion is proven to be true, he said government officials might be held liable.
Malaki talaga ang mawawala sa tiwala at bilib ng taong bayan dun sa kaso laban kay Senator De Lima at maaring maniwala sila sa paningin ng iba na politically motivated lang ito para patahimikin siya.
De Lima was originally charged with 3 counts of conspiracy to engage in the said drug trade, but she was acquitted of 1 and the remaining 2 is still on trial. Meanwhile, former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre has yet to release a statement on this issue. For News 5, Marlene Alcaide, we are One News.
Despite these back-to-back recantations, the camp of detained Senator Laila De Lima says securing her release will not be easy. De Lima's legal counsel, Attorney Rolly Pioro, says the retractions are helpful, but will not cause the immediate release of De Lima. He adds that they have to respect the independence of the court that has jurisdiction over the senator's pending cases. But Pioro also said that they're exploring possible legal actions against those who supposedly coerced Espinosa and Ragos to make false testimonies against De Lima.
We are looking all the charges possible against all the names that were mentioned by Ragos, including the former Secretary Aguirre, Yusek Mikate, and even the prosecutor involved in this case, Prosecutor Taliping. For sure, there is a great injustice done to Senator Laila De Lima, subordination of witnesses, being accessory to perjury. There are a lot of pending cases, a lot of cases can be filed against these personalities, but we have to first investigate, but we welcome these recantations.
The Octa Research Group has recorded a slight uptick in COVID-19 cases in Metro Manila. But should this be a cause for concern for the general public? Camille Samonte tells us in this report.
The country on the cusp of another COVID-19 surge. In NCR alone, the Octa Research Group recorded a 7% increase in new infections. That's from 79 cases a week ago to 85. Reproduction number also went up.
Hindi pa naman ito alarming kasi nasa low risk pa rin tayo sa NCR at yung 85 cases per day, mababa pa rin yan, below sa 1 na ADAR.
For the Health Department though, the slight uptick does not translate to an increase in the average daily attack rate and increased hospital utilization rate. In fact, the latest case bulletin showed that countrywide, daily cases are down by 5% to an average of 200 per day. ICU bed utilization and severe and critical admissions also remain low. Still, the DOH is already monitoring some areas of concern in Regions 4B, 5, and 8.
Sa ngayon po, hindi nagtatranslate sa severe and critical cases ang mga kaso na naitatala natin. Hindi rin po nagkakaroon ng pagtaas ng admission sa ating mga ospital na ma-manage po natin ang ating healthcare system capacity.
The slight uptick due to higher mobility is expected, said infectious disease expert Dr. Edsel Salvania. Salvana said what's important is to manage them. He also dispelled claims that the DOH will report an artificial surge after the polls.
Hindi po kami gumagawa ng mga numbers. Ito po ay base sa ebidensya. Kung tumataas, nire-report naman po ng DOH. Kung bumababa, nire-report.
In order to prevent another surge, experts are once again calling on the public to get vaccinated and receive their booster shots. For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
Octa research fellow Guido David says the current increase in COVID cases in the country is insignificant. In an interview with the chiefs, David explained that the slight uptick in cases didn't show increases in positivity and hospitalization rates nationwide. Despite this, the expert warned that we should still not be complacent.
During the past few months, from February to March, we still had the wall of immunity built from natural exposure, natural infection. And this usually lasts, this is good for mga 3 to 4 months. And so yung multifactorial aspect nito is right now, nagkakaroon na ng decreased immunity, decreased antibody levels, waning immunity, while at the same time, we still have these mass gatherings and, decreased compliance with health protocols, and also the new subvariants. So all these factors, pag nagkasabay-sabay, we believe this helps to cause an increase in numbers.
So what can neutralize that vaccination? Is that it?
Vaccination, boosters, health protocols. Yan na yun.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. COMELEC continues to remind the public to wear face masks when casting their votes. This as the DOH expects Election Day to be a potential super spreader event. Greg Gregorio with the details.
Less than a week before the May 9 polls, the COMELEC reiterates that vaccine cards are not required for voting. COMELEC Commissioner Marlon Casquejo noted that COVID-19 test results are also not required.
Hindi na kailangan, ewan ko kung saan nanggaling yung antigen. Well, very clear tayo, hindi kailangan yung vax card kahit hindi ka vaccinated or fully vaccinated, you can vote. So, ang basic dito is kapag bumoto ka, you don't need to bring any identification ID. Provided kapag may challenge sa'yo, then that's the time hanapan ka ng ID.
However, the health department has earlier warned about the elections being a possible super spreader event. The COMELEC also admitted that they would not be able to find out who among the voters are positive for the virus. Commissioner George Garcia says they're relying on the implementation of RA 11332, which mandates Filipinos to report if they have notifiable diseases like COVID-19. With this, Garcia says they can be sure that confirmed cases will be quarantined and will not be allowed to leave their homes or isolation facilities. However, he admits that it's possible that those unconfirmed and undetected cases may still go to their polling places. Thus, the COMELEC reminds everyone to keep using their face masks. The poll body will also be setting up isolation polling places for voters who would manifest symptoms like fever. There, with temperatures hitting higher than 37.5 degrees Celsius, will be isolated. In isolation polling places, voters with COVID-like symptoms will still be given a chance to exercise suffrage.
Hindi natin pwedeng i-deny yung karapatan nilang bumoto kasi on election day, wala naman makakapagsabi kung may COVID yun.
As 64 million voters are expected to vote on election day, the COMELEC reminds every voter to prepare a código or a list of their chosen candidates so that when you vote, it would not take you much time and you can immediately leave the polling place. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. Some oil companies are implementing price rollbacks starting today. Prices of some basic commodities like sugar and onions have increased. And the IATF places more areas under the most relaxed Alert Level 1 status. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.